So hello everyone, I don't really know how to address this video. This is a very different video from my channel. I never really put really personal stuff online, but I feel like I need to put this out there, and I've been debating whether I am. I mean, obviously I'm still filming it right now and I don't know if it is going to go out, but if you're seeing this then it's here. If it does, then this is my story. This is my side of having it, and I just want to be putting this out there to maybe help somebody else, or somebody else that's been through it, or somebody else that's going through it right now, similar to me in this situation right now, because obviously I'm still going through it. So basically I have a ovarian cyst. Now these cysts can vary from very, very small. Now every woman can get them, so they can be very, very small and they go away on their own, or they can be very big, which mine is, and I never even thought I'd ever have anything like this. So I have got a very large ovarian cyst, which looks like a football inside me basically, if not bigger, because right now I look 6 months pregnant and I'm not. So yeah, I'm quite nervous actually, because if it goes on YouTube then it's out there, but if you watch my videos regularly you're gonna see a difference. The way I found out is that I was on the pill with my ex-boyfriend. So when I was with my ex-boyfriend I was on the pill, which was a one where you take it every single day and you never stop, so you don't stop to have a break in between and have a period. And then obviously when I split up with him, about a month after I come off that pill, and I did start to bleed a little bit, but not like a proper period. And then since I came off there, I didn't have a period for 7 months after coming off the pill, which I thought was a bit unusual. And I kept saying to my mum, like, if I don't start a period within the 6 months, I'm going to go to the doctors. There's something not right. Like, I should have started a period. Now, when I was younger, I had very irregular periods anyway, and then I got put on a pill, a low dosage pill, to regulate them, and then there was regular since then. But since being in a relationship and going on the pill, then coming off it, I had no period whatsoever, and I was a bit like and it started to hit like this end of the 6 months / 7 month sort of stage where I wasn't having a period, and I was thinking, right, I need to, you know, go to doctors. And then I eventually started, just as I was thinking, oh, maybe I should go to the doctors, and I started on a period. Now it was a bit in and bobbing to start with for at least 2 weeks afterwards, and then it came out, and it came out, and I mean like proper. And I know this is probably too much information, but this is where it begins. While I was at work, obviously having a period and stuff, I bent down at the pushchair, because obviously I worked in a nursery, so I bent down at the pushchair and I went to pull the pushchair down so it laid down, so that obviously the child could go to sleep. And I stood up, and as I stood up I was in the most excruciating pain. It felt like cramp all the way at the bottom of my stomach, and I couldn't stand up properly. I was in so much pain. I thought, oh, maybe I need to go to the toilet. So I went to the toilet. It just wasn't going away, and it was just excruciating. So obviously I went home, still in this pain. I was still in a lot of pain when I got home. I just thought, oh, maybe it will go away in a couple of hours time, you know, if I go to sleep it will just go away. Well, it didn't, because obviously it didn't. It kept waking me up halfway in between. It was just so draining. I was so drained from it, and I thought, this needs to go. And then I got sent home about, I don't know, about 11 o'clock, half 11, I can't remember. And then by, I don't know, half 2, I thought, it's not going away. Something needs to be done about it. So my mum ran the doctor for me, and I ended up going to an emergency appointment, and my doctor obviously checked it and everything, and she said to me that I could have an ovarian cyst, which I was like, because as she was checking me over, obviously she had to press on each side. I obviously had to describe all my symptoms and stuff, and as I laid down on the bed I couldn't even lay straight. It was so painful, and she pushed on one side, which was obviously the right hand side, and I felt it was hurting, but it wasn't hurting that much. And then she pushed on the left side. I could have kicked her, I could have punched her in the face because it was hurting that much. And then she said, have you got a temperature, do you feel sick, you know, all that sort of thing. And I was like, no. I said, it just feels like cramp underneath my stomach. I can't stretch, I can't lie down. I went to the doctors in my pajamas. Now this isn't me, like normally I would get dressed, but this I just couldn't. I just put a jacket over me. I had my leggings on still from work, and I just slicked my hair back, and I was like, I don't care, and I just want someone to get rid of this pain. So she said I could have an ovarian cyst, So she gave me tablets, and she gave me codeine tablets. She said take them every 4 hours, as well as ibuprofen and paracetamol. So I was literally dosed up all day long, which was knocking me out like no tomorrow. So I was asleep, which was not a bad thing, but I wasn't asleep for long because obviously the pain was waking me up. Now this pain lasted, it felt like it lasted forever. It lasted for a good 3 days. It used to wake me up. I couldn't go to sleep properly. I was in bed. I had to physically sit up like this, like how I am now, to go to sleep, because I couldn't lay down. I couldn't roll to one side. I couldn't do anything. And it was so painful. So on my bed I had to make like a chair sort of shape out of pillows, and then have a pillow behind my back so that I could go to sleep. And I just woke up crying all the time because it was just painful, and it'd come and go, and that's what was annoying. And it was just like a niggly pain down my left leg. So obviously the cyst is on the left ovary, which that's why I was getting that sort of pain. It was all down one side, and it was just excruciating. And I thought, please, I just wanted this pain to go away, this niggly pain. It was just so irritating. But I wasn't sick with it. I didn't have a temperature or anything. So I just kept taking these tablets, and I was just dosed up on these tablets for a good 3 days. And obviously eventually the pain went away. But I was still scared to bend down or do anything in case it all come back again. I was very frightened. I was just scared in case I pulled it again, in case it happened again. I was so frightened. And then in my head I was thinking, what if I've come on a period again and it happens again? You know, all these things were running through my head. So I was very careful in what I did. But obviously at the time she said it could be. It didn't mean that it was. So I was like, oh, I don't know. Wasn't expecting the severity of the size of it. I didn't really know that I had this ovarian cyst, and I didn't know the symptoms you could get with having an ovarian cyst. So I've always had a lot of trouble with my stomach, and I feel like when I eat something, sometimes it feels like it's burning all the way down my stomach. I always had this like really bad cramp pain if I was eating certain things. You know, it was hard to pass stuff through, you know, like go into the toilet. I always sort of struggled with, it wasn't all the time, but I've known it for a while. But I just thought, oh, maybe it's because of something I'd eaten, or, you know, things that I ate that started it off. I would just stop eating them. You know, I never really thought anything of it. I had a car accident in 2016, and I got jolted from that side. And then I think since around about then, I always had sort of like a bump on the side of my stomach. But I never really thought anything of it. I thought it was just the shape of the way my stomach was. So basically, if you look at my stomach, like it dips in and then goes out round like that. And I never really thought of anything of it, to be honest, and it's always been like that. I don't think it was to do with that, but as in the car accident, I think it's always been there, but I never really took any notice. I just thought that was the shape of my body. And, you know, little things started to add up once I'd found out, obviously, I had this ovarian cyst, like the stomach problems, you know. I had back problems as well, like I've pulled my back a couple of times. Again, I thought, oh, it's probably because I was lifting the kids at work, or I was doing this, that and the other. It never even occurred to me. So yeah, eventually when this pain went, I ended up going back to work. Obviously I was signed off for a couple of weeks from it, but when I was at work I thought, I don't want to do the same thing. I didn't want it bend down. I didn't want to pull myself in a certain way, because I thought, if this pain happens again, I can't deal with it. It was like, I'm not one for having a lot of pain. Like if I'm in pain, like I just want to be left alone, just leave me alone. I'm fine, I'll get over it. But when it's excruciating pain, it's just horrible. I can tolerate pain to a point, but this was just not it. I could not take this pain any longer, and I thought, oh. But yeah, so I went back to work obviously after 2 weeks, and I was like frightened to do anything. Obviously I still did it because I was at work and I had to. And then this was beginning of March as of this year. So March the 1st is when I started to have the pain, and then by the 3rd of April I got a letter. So the doctor referred me for a scan, so an internal scan and an ultrasound scan. This is where I found out. So on the 3rd of April, this was a Sunday morning, I had to go. So I had to have a full bladder, obviously to have the abdominal scan, which is obviously on your stomach, or not abdominal, ultrasound scan, which is obviously the same as when you have a baby. And I got there I think I got there about half an hour early. I don't know why, I just did. And anyway, so when I went in there, she obviously explained what she was going to do, you know, are you allergic to gel, you know, all this sort of thing. And she scanned my stomach to start with, and she scanned at the bottom, obviously where the ovaries and stuff was, and then she scanned at the top, so all the way around my stomach. Bearing in mind, I've never had this sort of thing, I've never had scans like this, I've never had to go to the hospital for anything, so I wasn't really scared because I thought, I don't know what it is. And while I was sitting in the waiting room, nothing really occurred to me as to what it might have been. I had thoughts of things and I thought, oh, this, that and the other, you know, my mum and dad thought I was pregnant. Yeah, so she was scanning my stomach and she was scanning everywhere, and then she said, you know, as I can see, you've got a large cyst. And I was like, right. I was quite shocked. Obviously I didn't even expect anything like that. So she said that you've got a large cyst inside you, and then obviously I had to turn on my left and my right hand side so that she could scan my not my ovaries, my liver and my kidneys, and she didn't say anything about that. She didn't say that, you know, there was thinging or anything, so she said they were fine. And then she did the internal scan. This is the bit where I felt such a twat, basically, because it was uncomfortable, and obviously it shouldn't be uncomfortable, but it was so uncomfortable when she put it in. She must have only put it in slightly, and I thought, whoa, you know, there's something in there, and it just felt like it was burning, it was tight. I thought, oh, I don't like the feel of this. And she said, before she did it, obviously, she said, if it feels uncomfortable, tell me and I'll stop. I was like, right, okay, you know, I was sort of relaxed, and then as she sort of went to push it in, it felt like something had moved or popped, and I thought, ooh, you know, I sort of like panicked. So I must have tensed myself up, and I said, you know, have you got to push it? I thought she'd pushed it all in, but obviously she didn't. And she said, I've got to go a bit further, and I said, and I like looked at it as if to say, you can't, because it's really uncomfortable. So all she did was she wasn't even like rough with it, she was just being gentle, but it just felt so uncomfortable and painful, and I thought, you need to stop this, please. And she was like turning it, and as she was turning it, obviously it's got like a little camera at the end so she could see inside, but I said, and I was just like, you know, I was just like with my face, I was thinking, this is painful, and she was going, oh, would you like me to stop? I said, no, I said, you've got to do it. I said, so carry on. And as she was turning it, and I was, whoa. And she took it out. She says, I can see you're in discomfort, so I'll stop. She says, but I can't, she says, I can't quite see where it's coming from. She says, but I can see you right over it. She says, there's nothing on you right over it. I can't quite see your left. So she was asking me questions like, you know, any other symptoms of it, you know. And I just said, well, I used to bleed during, you know, sex and stuff, and I just, you know, I thought that was normal. Not normal as such, but I just thought it was nothing, because it was just like the occasional little bit every so often, you know. And then it used to be a bit painful, and she asked me if I, you know, had a hard time going to the toilet, as in like going for wee, and I says, well, not really. I says, wee's fine. The other end I struggle with. So she went off, she asked somebody else, and then came out, because she said, you know, I don't feel like you need to go to surgery now. And as soon as I heard the word surgery, I panicked. In my head, I panicked. I thought, oh my god, you know, I had to go on my own. It said on the letter that I couldn't bring anyone with me, so I was on my own in this hospital, and I was absolutely shitting myself. You know, I wasn't thinking anything of it. Anything that was the problem, you know, I could have just pulled myself and it was just a really bad pull. It wasn't. So I was kind of panicking at this point, and even though she said, oh, you know, I don't feel like you need to go to surgery now, which is fine, but because she said, you know, surgery, it sort of made me panic. And I think I stuttered when I said, you know, like where they're going to put it in, because I thought, oh my god, they're going to have to put it up me, blah 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 blah. But obviously she explained, she said that they'd probably do keyhole surgery and whatever, to get rid of it. But obviously that's not her choice to make, because she's not the one that's going to be doing the surgery. So yes, so as I came home and I just burst out crying, because it was just so much of a shock. I couldn't believe it. So when she scanned it, actually, she said, I can only measure 40 centimetres. Now, 40 centimetres in reality isn't that big, but that's only across. That's not how, like, the whole of it, like the back end of it and all the way around sort of thing. This is only like how much it measures from here to here. So she said it started from the top of my stomach, like under my boobs where my bra sits, all the way down to my belly button, and she said that that's all she could measure. She can't measure anymore because obviously the screen won't allow me to do it. So it could possibly be bigger, which, you know, hearing that was a massive shock, seeing as, you know, I've never had to go to hospital or anything like that, and it was scary because I thought, oh my god, you know, never even thought this was thingy. So obviously I came home and I just burst out crying. I couldn't hold it in, you know. I got a taxi home. I didn't drive myself, which was a good job because I don't think I'd have been able to drive, and I just burst out crying. I just burst out crying, and I couldn't even comprehend what she just told me. Obviously I had to tell mum and dad. You know, my mum was upset because, you know, because I just burst out crying. I just couldn't comprehend the fact that she'd just told me what it was. And it's a major thing because, you know, I'm carrying around this thing inside me. I didn't even know what it was, and it's making me look 6 months pregnant. And I don't actually look like this. I don't look as big as what I think I am because, you know, something's in the fucking way. So obviously after that, you know, I calmed myself down a bit, and now I know what it is. I've tried to like avoid certain foods that I'm eating, obviously, to stop my stomach, to, you know, stop my stomach from starting off. I've ended up leaving my job because of the fact that I don't want to be pulling, bending, twisting, you know, and maybe starting it off again. So yes, so that's basically the backstory of it, and I've not really got much else to update you on. So today is the I don't know where my phone is. It is the 28th of May 2022, so, you know, I've known for nearly 2 months. Today is the 15th of June. I did say I was going to update you once I had my gynaecologist appointment, which was yesterday, so the 14th. There wasn't much really that was said. It was any different to what I sort of already knew or had an inkling of what was going to happen. Obviously it wasn't as big as a shock as it was the last time, because, you know, the last time I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue what I had and what I was expecting to have done. But obviously this time I know, so it wasn't as bad. But yes, they just went through that. The symptoms I had, basically, that she told me that it looks, I think you pronounce it benign. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Basically, it's just non-cancerous. It's not a tumour or anything. It's just basically a big sack of fluid inside me, which is good. Yeah, she was just saying that I'm going to be referred to the hospital for a scan. So I've got to wait 2 weeks. And she said, well, within 2 weeks, she said, if you haven't heard within the end of June, by the end of June, then you need to ring and, you know, say that you've not heard anything. So I've got to wait for another letter, another referral letter, so I can go to the hospital to have an MRI scan. And basically what will happen at the MRI scan, she said that it will be to obviously see it in more detail and decide what's going to happen during surgery. So that'll be the next step, and then I'll have to wait for a surgery date. And yeah, it was just basically the same thing really. I weren't in there very long, and then she said that want some blood tests. This is the third time I'm having blood tests. And I thought, well, I went for a blood test when the doctor said she was going to refer me. They needed urgent bloods, and they took bloods, and I don't know where the fuck they've gone, because I've got to have more blood tests. I had to have more blood tests, and when I went to go and get the blood test, they couldn't get it out of me, and I thought, are you actually taking the piss? Bear in mind, this is 10 o'clock in the fucking morning. And she said, the woman said to me, like, have you eaten, have you drank enough today, you know? And I'm like, have you ever had problems with, you know, taking blood? And I was like, no, never. I've never in my life had problems with somebody taking my blood. They've just stuck it in and it just pisses out normally. But she couldn't get absolutely nothing, and I was like, are you taking the fucking piss? And she tried one arm. She tried my right arm, this arm. No, that's not my right arm, that's my left arm, sorry. And she couldn't get anything out of this one. She tried this one, and as you can see, I've got a little bit of a bruise there from having it in this arm. I think she tried this one twice, but then when she stuck it in, she sort of wheeled it and it was a bit sore. So she has bruised me on this one, but I'm not that bothered, to be honest, because I think, well, it's only a fucking bruise, it's not gonna do. So I've got to go on Friday to go and get blood tests, so I've got to do it again. So it'd be the 4th time I'd have had blood taken from me. So, hello everybody. It is the 16th of June. I literally only updated you yesterday about having a scan, an MRI scan, and I've not, I've got to wait 2 weeks. I actually had a phone call today to say that I have got an appointment for Saturday this week to have an MRI scan. So that was very, very fast, which I'm obviously glad about, because the sooner the better and the sooner I can sort it out. So I've got to go on Saturday for an appointment, obviously to have an MRI scan, and then, like I said yesterday, that they'll talk about surgery and all that sort of stuff. So yes, very fast. Wasn't expecting it as soon as it was. I was expecting at least a week or so, but it was literally like 2 days. So I went on Wednesday, and I went on Tuesday. By Thursday today, I have had a confirmation of an appointment. So yes, 7 o'clock at night, I've got to go to the hospital and have a scan. I can't remember the actual update that I gave. I think it was when I had me MRI scan. Right, so let me tell you this. I shouldn't be laughing really, but I just think, oh yeah, 2 weeks ago, I had my MRI 2 weeks ago, and then they said that I will hear back in the next couple of days, which I did, and I got an appointment to go to the treatment centre. Now I've been to the treatment centre today, and I feel like it was a waste of time. So my appointment was at 10 o'clock, and I got there for about 20 to 10, so I had a bit of time to go up, find where I was supposed to be and whatever. And I sat there waiting for like 20 minutes, got called in. I was in there 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And it was just basically what I already knew. Because the bloke said that the MRI scan results hadn't come through. So it was basically, he couldn't really tell me anything else. And I was like, so what was the point in this appointment then? So he's now referring me to a multi-agency to have another consultation about stuff for the MRI results. And I'm like, well, somebody somewhere should have said, oh, your results have not come through yet, we'll cancel your appointment and we'll reschedule it. Because the reason why he couldn't say anything to me or say any more was because he didn't have them results in front of him to see, which was fucking irritating. So I was in there 10 minutes and I came straight out. So hello everybody. Today is the 8th of March. I haven't updated this video for a very, very long time, and like I said, I wanted this video to be my journey, so every update I got, then you could see it from the day that I've had the update, or around about the day. And the last time I updated this video was July, because that is the last appointment that I had about it. So since then, obviously I've been put on a waiting list to have it removed. And as of yesterday, the 7th of March, I got a text message to say that I had to do a pre-op assessment. So they told me to fill in the questionnaire and then have it sent in like that. And then obviously they'll go through it, make sure everything's alright. If they need to see me again, obviously they'll tell me. But if not, obviously then I'll be waiting for the surgery date. So it's very, very close now. But yesterday, like I say, it came, and it came through as a text message, and I looked at my phone and I thought, who's texting me? It was like a random number, and I thought, I don't know who that is. And then as I lifted my phone up to unlock it, obviously it said, NHS, and then it said pre-op, and because it said pre-op, I panicked and I got myself in a bit of a state yesterday. But obviously I know it's a good thing, but it still doesn't make me feel, woohoo, well, it does, but it's still scary at the same time, because it's going to be a major thing. So yeah, I got very upset yesterday over it, because it was a bit of a in the face. Obviously I was waiting for 8 months, I was expecting it to come, but when it came, it just sort of smacks you in the face, because you don't expect it the time that it comes, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it means that it's very close now, and it not be long, and I'm very scared. I'm very, very scared, but I know that it's going to be for the good, and I know that once it's over with, that's it. There's no more waiting, no more worrying. It's out, it's finished, and we can go back to normal again. So hello everybody, today is the 10th of March. From the other day, literally the other day, of me saying that they'll call me back if they need another assessment. Well, they did, literally like on the first day. They said that they'd received obviously the questionnaire, and if I needed any more of an assessment they would ring, and they did like within an hour of sending that message. So they booked me in and they had a cancellation for today. So when this morning, and I had an appointment for 8:30, and then they just basically did the same thing, routine checks just to make sure that you're aware of everything, what's going to happen and stuff. And they did my height, my weight and my blood pressure, and then they also took a blood test as well from me and checked my lungs, my heart, and yeah, that's it. So they checked all that as well, so that is all fine. So I've just got to wait for the results if there's anything that needs to be discussed for a blood test. But if not, she said obviously if there's nothing wrong, if I don't hear anything, then there's nothing wrong, and you'll get a letter receiving your surgery date. So yes, it's a matter of days I think now, of just waiting for my actual surgery, and this is the last leg. It's crazy because I've been waiting 8 months, and well, nearly 8, it'll be 8 months as of this month, at the end of the month, that I've been waiting since the last appointment I had. So it sort of kicked me back in the teeth again that it's actually happening, and it's actually a real thing. It's now the 3rd of June. I said I would do another update when I've got an update to tell you, so I've now got an update, and I can now tell you that my operation is going to be on the 7th of June, so that is 4 days away from now. I actually got a phone call on Wednesday to say that there'd been a cancellation and we're able to put you in on 7th, obviously if you're able to do it, which obviously I said yes, because I've been waiting a very long time for this to happen. Originally I wasn't going to answer the phone call because it just came up with a number and something was telling me to answer the phone call. So obviously when I answered it, I was very nervous. I was shocked at the same time, and I know that sounds stupid because obviously I know that I've been waiting for it, but it's just the anticipation of when it's going to happen, and it just got to me a little bit because I thought, oh my god, that's like a week away. So I was, I was crying, I was, shaking and stuff like that, because I think it's a big thing. I've never ever been in hospital before. I've never had to have this sort of thing before, so this is a major thing for me. But at least now I know when it is, and I know that it's gonna be over with. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna be, fucking amazing afterwards, and we're gonna feel so much better. But it's still a little bit, frightening, because like I say, it's a big thing. So yeah, 7:30 in the morning on Wednesday the 7th of June, I will be going into hospital and having my operation. So yes, I am excited at the same time as well as being nervous. Like, it's mixed emotions, but we're gonna get there, we're gonna get through it, and I will update you obviously when I've come out and feel well enough to sit in front of a camera and be like, yep, this is me now. So if you have watched this far, then I just want to say thank you for watching all the way to part 1, all the way through part 1 of this ovarian cyst journey. Obviously, like I say, this has been filmed all the way from last year all the way till now, so I wanted to do a video where I was literally going through all the emotions, well, all of the stages of my cyst removal / cyst journey. If anybody else is feeling the same, just know that you're not alone. We're there now, and the light is at the end of the tunnel, so yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Right, I look a mess, but today is the 6th of June, so it's the day before my operation, and I just wanted to do a video of showing you the weight that I was before, so you can see how much obviously I've lost. So yeah, my hair's up in a bun because it's greasy as fuck. I look a mess, but it's fine, just keeping it real. So yeah, I'm gonna go downstairs now because I've not eaten anything yet, and I want to show you my weight before obviously it comes out tomorrow. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go and do now. I'm gonna show you on the scales what I weigh now, and then obviously I'll do one after, what I look like afterwards. Right, I'm gonna weigh myself. So I've got the scales, which is like an app one, so you can weigh it on the app. So let's see what I am. I'll show you obviously my feet on it when I'm standing on it. So guys what I weigh. 111.35 kilograms. There you go, 111, which converts to about, so there we go, 111.35 kilograms is 17 stone 535 stone. So that's our current weight at the minute.